This is Trainer Talk the podcast, brought to you by Sharon Gaskin of the Trainers Training Company and me, Ginette of the Get That Gang. In our weekly show, we cover news and views from our businesses along with a top-of-mind topic. Of course, it wouldn't be Trainer Talk the podcast without the Dog Walking Digest, and every now and again we invite a guest along to share their experience and expertise. After 90 episodes of just audio, we're now on YouTube as well. So feel free to catch up there. Just search for the Trainers Training Company or the Get That Gang, or download us on audio only through your favourite podcast streamer. So why not sit back with a cuppa, make that journey or chore go a little bit quicker with our weekly inspiration for developing your training business. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Trainer Talk the podcast, and we are demob happy for episode number 116. Are we not, Sharon?
We are really demob happy. We are at the end of August. It is our last episode.
At the end of July.
Sorry.
Steady on.
The end of July. There you go. I can't even think straight. At the end of July, and we're about to come into our little break. Mm-hmm. So we are demob happy.
Absolutely.
And with this special Olympics edition.
It certainly is. So should we start with that? Because, it's huge in our minds at the moment. It sucks us in, does it not?
It really does. I mean, I was one of these people who, like last week, I was going, the Olympics. I don't think I'll watch it because it's just not going to be the same, is it, without the crowds and blah, blah, Day one, there I was. I got up Saturday morning and was like, the Olympics. What's this? The road race, Sat there for the entirety, and that was it. I was just sucked in, and you find yourself watching all these obscure sports that you only ever watch every 4 years.
Absolutely.
They suddenly seem to really be important in your world.
Exactly right. I mean, I've been a fan of the Olympics for as long as I can remember. Really absolutely loved the whole sporting spectacle of it and all the rest of it. And I was a volunteer at 2012, and it was just fabulous, such a fabulous experience. But it is one of those things where you just I'll just watch a few bits, or I'll watch the highlights or whatever, and of course what happens is I end up putting it on BBC, so it's on in the background, and I just watch this, or I just watch that. On Saturday morning I was supposed to be doing some bits and pieces, but the hockey was on, so I was like, I'll watch that then. So great time waster. And then of course you got to watch the highlights as well in case there's something you missed.
Well, indeed. When you find yourself sitting there on a Sunday afternoon watching taekwondo, I mean, for God's sake.
It's not taekwondo.
Well, you do, don't you?
It's not taekwondo, it's kiki, right?
Okay, all right. Okay, in your world.
I should explain. I was explaining the martial arts to Mum because it was on, obviously, the Olympics yesterday. So she said, I can't tell the difference between all of these different ones. So I said, well, Taekwondo is kiki, Judo is grabby chucky. So we just went through this whole list. So I put it up as a Facebook post and got some excellent suggestions from people.
Yes,
so
indeed.
I might have to go through the whole of the Olympic sports and just suggest alternative names to all of them. Another one I particularly like is for the javelin, which is Chucky Sticky. So we'll see where that goes. But
and then you literally sit there. Not only do you find yourself watching taekwondo, a bit later on, found myself being sucked into skateboarding.
I haven't seen any of that yet. I'd quite like to see that.
It's amazing. It's just so much fun. So much fun. So so happy days. We've got another 2 weeks of this.
I know. Yes, I have a feeling I might not be quite as productive as I want to be this week. But anyway, should we do a roundup of our last week before talking about what we might have planned or not for the next couple of weeks?
Well, apart from the before I go on into work mode, which was actually very quiet last week because nobody seemed to turn up for anything. So
a few people turned up for a few bits. Let's not be unfair.
Yeah, but it was what? But it's fine. It's absolutely fine because it is, July. It's that time of year, and let's face it. Last week it was very, very hot, wasn't it?
Oh yes, very humid. Yeah.
After our last recording on Monday, it was really, really hot that day, and it just got worse throughout the week, didn't it? It was it was so hot.
It was, yeah, and I think even all my computer equipment felt it last week because everything was just going so slowly and just not working properly all over the place. So it was really, it got quite oppressive at one point. Not to say, it's not that I'm not enjoying the hot weather, but if we could have it without the humidity, that would be great.
Yeah, it was really, really hot. And then in the midst of all this, I had people coming around to do all sorts of documents, on the house. I lost about at least 2 or 3 days of my life on the phone to an electricity company. And I'm sorry, but I am going to name and shame. I'm going to name and shame SSE. Just avoid. They are the worst organisation I've ever encountered in all my life.
Wow.
They are just absolutely. So this little tale started, when did it start? Quite a few months ago, about 4 or 5 months ago, where Amy, obviously she lives in a 1-bedroom flat in Cardiff. She had a electricity changed over from somewhere called Spark Energy to this SSE at Christmas, and she was told to go and read the meter, which what she did. Obviously, that's what you do when you have a new electricity provider. She read the meter, and then they sent her a bill for £1,800. And I quote one of the various people that I spoke to throughout this sorry tale. One of them actually said, "Oh, you could power a whole street for that." I was like, exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
So do we see the problem here, SSE?
Oh my goodness me. But literally, and then she had guys coming around from SSE. They installed a smart meter. She got an app on her phone so they could see, check the usage and set up a new direct debit for her, of £45 a month. But there's still been this question of this bill, this outstanding bill, which was from January to May. And basically they got to the point where they agreed that they were in the wrong, but it took so many phone calls to get to that point from Amy and then me. I got involved in it. It was just getting ridiculous. And they agreed that it was wrong, and they said, okay, we'll send a revised bill. And that was literally like about 3 months ago. And ever since that time, we've been trying to get them to send this revised bill. And every time you phone up, you speak to somebody different. You have to go through the whole, tale again, because they don't seem to have any notes by it. Then they start either they either agree with it and go, yeah, we'll send you a revised bill. I'm like, well, where is it? Or they start disputing the whole thing again. I'm like,
God.
It's like different people. And one bloke that I spoke to last week, me, I'm fairly, I don't get angry about it. But honestly, last week I got to the stage where I was like, who is going to take responsibility for this? Because my daughter is not paying this bill, and I'm certainly not paying this bill. And so I'm going to go to the ombudsman about this. You can just give me no choice to do this.
Absolutely.
Because this stupid man was basically saying to me, I said, she shouldn't be getting a bill for that amount in a 1-bedroom flat. And he went, oh, well, I think you'll find that's kind of industry standard for that. I'm like, what are you talking about?
No, he was trying to justify it. Oh, good grief.
And he said to me, I said, excuse me. I said, I live in a 4-bedroom detached house, and my gas and electricity bill combined is £130 a month. And he's like, well, who's your provider? And he said, I said, it's 130. He said, it can't be. I was like, honestly, I was like, just so. And then I did the whole thing. I said, right, okay, I need to speak to your manager or supervisor, or, yeah, okay, all right, well, you can speak to them. Oh, great. Can I speak to them now? No. Why not? Because you don't. Because that's not how we work.
Really? Work in inverted commas, I think. Good grief.
So I said, well, he said, you have to ring another number. This is head of customer complaints now. I've got to go through. So they give me this number. So, okay, great. I'm getting somewhere. I said, right, if I ring this number, will I get through to them? Yeah. Okay, right. Okay, ring the number. We are now closed.
No. Oh dear.
So literally then the next day I spent then another 3 hours on the phone to one person, and we got to the point where we were really, you know, he was sorting it out, he was agreeing with everything, he said he would send this bill, and I was like, okay, if I stay here now on the phone, can we do this, can I pay it now? Because he basically said it was 150 quid.
Yeah.
Which, you know, he said to me, sorry to go on about this, but consumers need to know. He, just in case you ever encountered these people, he says to me, I said, by my reckoning, I said, that bill should be, he was working it out. And I said, well, work it out. I said, but by my reckoning, it should be round about £160. And he went, you're right, how so? And I said, well, she's got a direct debit of £45 a month. And this is for 4 months. Do the maths.
Wow. Wow.
So he works it out. And he said, right, I'll send the revise. I said, well, can you send an email to my daughter outlining the conversation? Because we've been down this road before, and you have conversations and then you ring back and you dispute that you've ever said it. So can you, oh, yes, what's her email address? Oh, yes, I'll put all this in an email, and then you'll get a revised bill in 2 days' time. Okay, great. I was literally, if you'd have seen me, Ginette, I was literally running around here. I was going, yeah.
Like you'd wanted a gold at Olympics.
Because I was literally, right, finally. So Amy was all happy and everything. Oh, an hour later I said, you got an email? No.
Mm-hmm.
Next day, have you got an email? No. I was like, have you got the revised bill? No. I was literally, you know, hyperventilate. So I had to ring them again the next day, go through the whole thing, and I said, then they're like, oh, I can't understand why you haven't had this revised bill. I'm like, going, if one more person says this to me.
Absolutely. Oh my God.
So then they go to me, she said, oh yes, well, we've got this revised bill and it's £300. I said, no. £300? It was 150 yesterday. Like, oh no, well, I don't know. He seems to have worked it out wrong and all this. And I'm like, then she starts waffling on about a different kind of, oh, well, because she's got electric heaters, you know, I think you'll find that. And I was like, right, I'm just not at the point now. I can't deal with this anymore. I'm literally not going to dispute it, right? Can I pay this over the phone? And will that be the end of it? Oh, yes, you can pay it over the phone. Thank God, yesterday they said I couldn't pay it over the phone. Right, give me the, you know, here I am, here's my card. I just want to pay it. Oh, well, you can't give it to me. I'm like,
oh, for crying out loud.
You know, because it's another department. I'm like, okay, can you just put me through to the people who can just pay this bill? Yes, puts me through, go through, get cut off.
It's recording errors. Go to the ombudsman. Just go to the ombudsman.
So then, right, okay. So I phoned up. So then again, you get a different person. So I'm like, okay, I've been through all this, you know, can I just pay this bill? He goes, yes, of course you can pay the bill. I've just been told that you can't, no, what did he say? He said, yes, you can pay the bill. And I said, well, this woman just tried to put me through to this other, you know, the billing team. He goes, well, I don't know why she did that. We don't have a billing team.
Oh, God. Well, that's why you got cut off then.
Like, right.
Oh, what?
Can I just pay the bill now? Yes, you can give it. You can give your card to me. Right. Thank you, God. Honest to God, they are the worst. I paid the bill, and hopefully that'll be the end. And I did say to them, I said, I'm going to pay this bill, and as soon as it goes through, we will be switching to another provider.
Absolutely.
It's like going, oh, is there anything else we can do? I'm like, no, I think you've done quite enough.
Never bother us again.
You're staying with you any moment longer.
No, terrible.
It has taken since Christmas to get to this point.
That is ridiculous.
Absolutely. Honestly. And if you go on Trustpilot, you will see so many people who've had the same, I've never come across such a shocking organisation in all my life.
terrible.
So sorry to spend so long on it, but
No,
you need to know, people,
yeah,
do not go near this
absolutely.
company.
Good grief, that's appalling. I mean, that is right up there with the cooperative bank in terms of uselessness, for sure. But if you added up your time spent on it,
I know.
plus
Amy's
the cost of
time,
phone
yeah,
bills, plus
yeah.
Amy's time, it's just like they owe you 1,800 quid. For sure.
I know.
For sure they do. That's just ridiculous.
At one point, I literally said to them, I just went, I don't know. What am I supposed to do? I said, I don't know what to do anymore. I really don't. And just like, and to think, I was on the phone the other day for literally 3 hours to that one person. He gave me his name, everything, and he was typing away. And he said that he would send this email to him. And the next minute, it's like all of that was as if it never happened.
Yeah, totally.
It's just, honestly, it's just, I can't.
Shocking.
I don't understand why they're still in business. How can they still be in business?
No, quite. Well, all of the energy companies, I think they're just a bunch of charlatans. They really are. Honestly. Oh. Wow.
Anyway, so there you go. That was a good point. It was a very good. It was very good that it was a very quiet week work-wise, because literally the amount of hours I wasted on that.
Well, you wouldn't have had time, would you? Honestly.
I mean, honestly, it's just outrageous.
Right. Well, let's
name and shame.
Yes,
you are.
Let's hope that is a line drawn underneath that one. So, did anything else happen last week, Sharon? Apart from people not turning up for stuff and trying to sort out SSE's life for them.
Well, that was it. And also, I think on the podcast, we have various categories. I think we should have a new category called Things 21-year-old boys are incapable of doing.
Oh dear. What has Ryan not done now?
Well, it's just basic things like, bringing cups down and any of the implements from bedroom to kitchen. Putting towels back on towel rails after you've had a shower, it's kind of, and the worst effect is putting, we in both bathrooms, we have one of those loo roll things, with the things on the floor, and you just pop your loo roll. Why is he incapable of putting the loo roll back on said thing after he's been to the loo? Every time I go in there, the toilet roll is either on the window ledge or somewhere else in the bathroom. It's like,
okay. when does he go back?
Yesterday.
Oh,
I love him. Honestly,
you miss him really, right?
I do. Of course I miss him. As soon as he went, I was missing him. But I don't miss that.
No, I can imagine. Oh, well, make life easier for any potential tidying up for a move, won't it? Not having random toilet rolls all over the place.
God, I just don't get it. I don't get it. It's but just something just doesn't compute somewhere, does it?
Well, they reckon that boys take longer to mature than girls anyway, but also young people's brains they reckon now don't actually mature until at least 25, something like that. So they're kind of their nerve centers for risk and reward and just thinking about things are completely wired incorrectly up until that point. So.
Yes. Oh God.
Apparently. All right then. Well,
that was my week, people.
I don't have a saga of SSE proportions, but I do have an ongoing thing with the co-op. So when I first started my business, my accountants recommended to me that if I had my business banking with the co-op bank, I'd get like cash back, I think, every year if I was also an FSB member, Federation of Small Businesses member, which I was at the time. Because, when you first start up, you don't know any different. So I did that, and I should have really twigged because it took them 3 weeks to actually set up my business bank account. Couldn't do it online, had to request forms to fill in and then send back via snail mail to get it all sorted out. And this was only back in 2015, early 2015, that this was all like this. So it was, over the years, they had been very slow to get things done, and then you'd phone up for one thing. I phoned up one time to get a bank statement, because for some reason it wasn't, I can't remember what it was, but they'd set my account up in the wrong name. And when I phoned to say I need it in this name, they said, oh, well, it shouldn't be in the other name. I said, well, okay, but you set it up like that. Well, no, it shouldn't have happened. Yes, but it did happen. Well, it shouldn't have done. Okay, we're going around in circles here. You did it. You're in the wrong. I'm asking you to change it. Can you change it, please? So, yeah, get it changed. Requested a bank statement. So they sent me through a checkbook. So requested another bank statement. So they sent me through a deposit book. And, various bits and pieces. So when, was it last year or the year before? Might even be 2 years now. Can't remember. Oh, no, it was last year. I thought, right, I've had enough of this. I am going to set up with Starling Bank, because I've heard really good things and all the rest of it. And literally, I could not believe the difference. Setting up with Starling, it took, 5 minutes on my phone? And then I got my card through within a week, and it was like, I've got the bank. Wow, okay. So then there's the saga of shutting down the co-op bank and the account with the co-op, and that again took another 3 weeks, and you had to fill in this form, and then you had to print it off and send it out. You couldn't do it online or anything like that, and all these sorts of bits and pieces. And they were so slow that at one point they ended up costing me money, because they missed a payment or something had gone wrong somewhere. Anyway, so I thought I'd got rid of them, and that was May, June last year, something like that, all the rest of it. And then probably coming up to December last year, they started sending me emails. But these were emails not about my account, but emails doing things like warning about fraudulent transactions and blah, 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 all the rest of it. I thought, this is so tedious. So I tried to get in to say, stop sending them to me, but you can't get into the live chat, and you can't get into the support, and you have to phone up if you want to stop something like that happening, because the live chat and the support lines are only available to people who have an account. And of course, my account was closed, so I couldn't get into any of that. So what I did was set up a rule on my email, which basically said, anything from them, just send to junk, and we'll deal with it. But it got to the point where I was looking in there, and there's about 4 or 5 emails in there. I said, oh, this is so frustrating. So about 2-3 weeks ago, I got hold of them on social media, and I didn't do it publicly. So I found their page on Facebook, and I thought, right, I'll do it privately first, give them a chance to sort their lives out, and said to them, look, can you please stop sending me emails to this email address? I can't unsubscribe because you won't let me, because I have to log in to do that, and I can't log in because I no longer have an account with you. Just stop sending things to me. So over a couple of days and lots of apologies and all the rest of it, this is absolutely sorted. I've spoken to the relevant department, blah, 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 blah. Last week, got another email. I'm just like, oh, for God's sake. So I went back to them, and it's obviously they've got a bot set up on their page. So I typed in the whole thing, and it came back and said, have you been requested to contact us through this channel? It's like, So I just put yes. And they said, oh, please go into as much detail as you like to before. And I just typed on there, it's all above in this conversational thread. I'm not retyping it. So then I get another apology saying, oh, well, it should, and I'm absolutely reassured that it's all been sorted out and all the rest of it. I'm just waiting for another email to come through. And it's not like it's actively impeding on me, because I just send them directly to junk anyway. But at the same time, it's just, I am not a customer of yours anymore. And I said to them, this is partly why I'm not a customer of yours anymore, because it's incompetence like this that makes me think, I don't trust you with my business funds. This is ridiculous. So I do feel sorry for the people on social media, because they must get a lot of that, for sure. But it's just, oh my God.
I think there's a wider question here, or issue, isn't there, about, customer service is just, it's just so important. Yes. It's so important. And the companies that really, really get it are just a joy to deal with. They are completely. An absolute joy to deal with, and it's just fabulous. I mean, Amy was saying to me about, obviously she wants to switch providers now. I've advised her to switch providers. And she said, we've been with British Gas for a long time. And she said, oh, well, what's your experience? I said, fantastic. And, I know there probably would be some people who haven't, but our experience with them have always been really good. Every time our boiler's broken down, we've had a problem, whatever, you just call them. They come around the same day or the next day, they fix it. You can reach them easily by phone. You can reach them easily online. They're responsive. The rest of it. That's just what you want. But these companies that just for whatever reason they haven't got their internal communication systems sorted, they are just they must be losing millions of customers, because I think particularly these days, and we've talked about this a lot on the podcast, about how people expect things quickly and expect responsiveness, expect things to happen like that. They don't want to be waiting for stuff, and if you can't provide that, then
totally
you're going to be left behind.
Completely. I mean, it's I think there are two elements, aren't there? There are the people answering the phones or answering the communication, and then there are the systems to back everything up. But it doesn't help. I mean, one of the things I remembered, well, after they'd sent me the checkbook and then the deposit in place of actually a bank statement, which was what I wanted, one of them advised me, oh, well, you can always pop down to your local branch and they'll be able to sort this out for you. So my local branch is a 70-mile round trip.
All right. Yeah.
Oh, well, maybe that's not possible then. No, certainly not in a pandemic. Yeah, exactly.
So,
anyway.
It's just, and it's the thing I've found frustrating with these, many things with SSE people is that you just, even if you get their name, you still cannot speak to the same person again, because they're in these massive call centers and you don't know when they're going to be there, when they're on their shift, or and it's so the frustration of, I must have told this same story, I don't know, easily 30 times, and so did Amy, because they seem incapable. You have to start again all the time, even though when you're talking to them, you can hear them typing and they go, well, I check the notes, and then they don't appear to have any notes because anyway, let's not go down that road again.
Terrible. I tell you what, it's a good job. But, we know several customer service trainers that could sort them out.
Indeed.
So,
indeed.
Maybe we should write and say, due to our recent experiences, we think you could do with these people. But anyway, so that was my customer service thing last week. But apart from that, had some good conversations with people last week. I also, interestingly, I had a conversation with somebody who was doing a sales call on me, for want of a better way of putting it. So I had bought into a program, and I had willingly signed up to this thing, by the way. This wasn't catching me by surprise or anything like that. I knew it was going to be a sales call. But part of me was, well, yes, I am genuinely interested to hear what the proposition is and how much it is. But also I'm interested to hear how the sales call goes, how they break it down, all the rest of it. Because my impression was that these particular people would be very good at it. So I thought, well, it's an opportunity to learn as well. Yeah, okie dokie. So I got the person who was only helping out, and by the sounds of things, didn't really do it full time, and kept asking me questions which I didn't feel I could answer because I hadn't been given enough information. But the question was clearly part of a script where somebody had said, oh, and then you ask this question because you get them to buy in by saying yes to it. And she kept saying to me, so does that sound like something you could do with help with? And I was like, well, it might, but I don't know what the thing is that you're proposing. You need to give me more details, and you need to tell me exactly what it is. And I even said to her at one point, the whole reason I'm on this call is so you can tell me what it is. What do I get for this thing? What does the group coaching program look like? What does the one-to-one done for you service look like? What do I get from it? And it was eventually when we got there, and I said, right, okay, and how much do they cost? And she said that, and I almost spit my tea out at the done for you service. But blimey, I'm not charging enough by a factor of about 100. But and then the group program was not insurmountable, but at the same time, the commitment to get it done and all the rest of it, I just, I'm not in that place at the moment. So I said, oh well, I'll see what I can do. And I even sort of said to her, look, I'm kind of booked up for the next 6 weeks, but if there's a program, oh well, it's kind of, you start at any time and whatever and blah de blah, and it's just like, okay, I would have done that call completely differently. For a start, I'd have spent an awful lot more time understanding who I am and what I do, instead of kind of launching into that. And does that sound like something that would help you? And I'm like, oh God, I know too much about NLP to be taken in by those things. So that was a really interesting experience. I won't be doing that. But had a couple of coaching meetings, a couple of people booking up for more coaching meetings. We had the clinic on Thursday, which there was only a couple of people there, but it was great because the person that had a question was easily able to be answered by the other person that had turned up, so that was fantastic. And then on Friday we had our niching clinic, didn't we, with the complete trainers, which was fantastic. I just enjoyed that so much. It was a good one, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a cracking one. I do apologise for printing coming out of my printer, just like, other people are clearly printing.
It's fine. Couldn't hear it.
Podcast. But, there's all this stuff here from the solicitors again, and again, we've been asked again, why they're selling so soon. I really do think it's none of their business.
No, exactly. Honestly. It's like, well, because we want to. There you go. It's quite simple. This is the way it happens.
Exactly. Oh, anyway, so
you should have just said to them, because of the poltergeist. See what happens. See if anybody actually reads it.
I know. There's a load of technical questions here about the conservatory. I don't know.
Well, it's here.
I don't know whether it has a completely transparent or translucent roof made from either glass or polycarbonate. I don't know.
Give it to Jim. Jim will sort it out. Be fine.
Yeah. Sorry. So sorry about that. Just sort of paper coming through my printer.
It's fine. It's not a problem. We were
to make sure.
We were talking about the niching clinic and how
we were talking about the niching clinic. Indeed, we were, and it was a cracking session. Mm-hmm. It was really, really good because we dived into. We asked everybody, didn't we, about their niching journeys and kind of where they were on it, and we uncovered some kind of fears and beliefs around niching, which we always do.
Oh, yes.
And then we sort of went into that sort of lovely exercise where we sort of help people to uncover their niche and really I was really fired up by the end of it. About you.
Yeah, definitely buzzing at the end of that one, and really pleased for some of the insights that came and sort of little light bulb moments. And I mean, sometimes when doing these sorts of workshops, sometimes you get people that just have enough to move them forward a little bit, and that in itself is fantastic. But every now and again you get people who have massive light bulb moments, and I think we had one or two people that had those, which was fantastic. So can't ask for much more, can you, for something like that?
No, you can't.
So so
great session,
definitely, and looking forward to the catch up this Friday when the podcast is released, of course. Well, on YouTube it's available on Thursday evenings. Hint. But on Friday on the podcast stream as it comes out. So it's all good. It's all good. Excellent. Yeah. All righty. So shall we move on to our top of mind topic for this week?
Yes. Right. Just going to be a quick one today because it's we are demob happy and all that, and so, we just thought about it seemed very appropriate to talk about the importance of taking a break in your business, which we probably always do around about this time of year, not only take a break, but talk about it on the podcast.
Exactly.
It seems very, very relevant.
It is. It's relevant and important still. So, it hasn't gone away in terms of its importance, has it? And this is something, if I'm right, this is your third year in a row or fourth?
Third year. Yeah.
So tell me, again, I know we covered this last year, but I'm going to ask again for the sake of our new listeners and anybody that's forgotten, what prompted you to decide to have a Zoom-free August in the first place? Because, of course, this was pre-pandemic that you first decided to do this.
Yeah, yeah. I think it was because I just kind of noticed that, well, I've never really been, I think in all the time that I've had my business, which is 11 years, I've never, ever had a holiday where I literally go away for 2 weeks and just close the laptop down and do not have any contact whatsoever with my business. I just don't do that. And so I just thought, oh, it is important to have some kind of time to refresh and recharge and just have a mental break as much as anything. And so what I noticed was the one thing that was really sort of taking my time up and like taking my energy up the most in my business was the commitment side of it, turning up, either, delivering your training or your sessions or whatever, or having one-to-ones or, or having meetings, what it was just all that it's what I would class as the Zoom time. And so and the fact that it's about, you've got that commitment in your diary, haven't you? So, that your day is governed by, your Zoom sessions and what you have to, physically show up for. And so I just thought to myself, well, what would it be like if I just had a whole month where I didn't have that commitment? Well, it would be amazing because I just wouldn't have to show up for anything. And because you don't have to show up for anything, it just gives you, freedom. It allows you to be, you're not tied to anything. You can be, spontaneous. So if the weather's nice, you can wake up in the morning and go, oh, I think I'll go somewhere today, or maybe I'll go out on a walk and I'll, take a bit longer than I normally would because I don't have to get back for, 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock or whatever. So I just thought, and knowing that August is generally a quiet month anyway, I just thought, oh, okay, let's see how that goes. And the first year that I did it, oh my God, it was just amazing. I just loved it so much. I still, did stuff on my business. So I'll still answer emails and messages. I'll probably do a little, bit of thinking and planning and, all that sort of stuff, but I don't physically show up for Zoom. And we've joked many times, haven't we, about, I don't talk to anybody in August. And it kind of feels like that a little bit, but it's just, it was incredible. And I just loved it so much because I just felt it's giving yourself that mental break from the constant, talking and thinking and showing up and all the rest of it. And so after the success of the first one and again, the world didn't collapse, everything was fine. And I just decided that would be a thing. And everybody I speak to, like, they just seem to just accept it as well. I would always, we talk on the Complete Trainer, don't we, about how, it's your business and you have to take control of it and not be at the beck and call of your clients and go, these are the hours of work. This is what I do. This is when I'm available. There's nothing wrong with that. And so I've just had somebody now just inquire about one-to-one mentoring, and she said, I'm keen to get going and everything. And remember, the same happened last year, because I think sometimes in August, because trainers are not maybe doing so much training themselves, they go, August is a good time for me to start thinking and planning. So they come to me and go, I'd like some one-to-one time. And I go, yeah, well, okay, sorry, but I don't do anything in August. And people just accept it and go, okay, well, that's a shame, but I'll wait till September, so.
Absolutely. You're so right that we are in charge of the boundaries for our business. And it took me a while to recognize that and to realize that and to be comfortable actually with sort of putting those boundaries in place. And it is a weird thing because you do feel like you have to be on call for whenever people need you, and that somehow they'll think ill of you if you don't respond immediately. So I do August slightly differently. Obviously I have the break from the podcast as well, like you do, which is nice because that gives me a bit of time back on a Thursday, which is when I do the editing and setting it all up, although not as much as it used to. The thing that takes the time is actually loading it up to YouTube. which I can't complain about because it was my idea to go onto YouTube in the first place. So it's fine. It's not a problem. But what I am doing is I've set aside a week. It's an odd week. It runs from a Thursday to a Thursday just because of other commitments. But I've set aside a week where I'm not going to be doing any client work. And I'm starting to sort of, tell people that and all the rest of it. There will be other things that I will do for sure. But this year particularly, I'm determined. Last year I wanted to, but pandemic kind of had other ideas and there was a lot going on, and at that point I still was in the gotta say yes to everything kind of framework. Yes, in terms of work that was within my niche, I will say that I'd gotten very used to turning down stuff that wasn't part of my niche, but in terms of sort of putting people off and delaying timescales and that kind of thing, that took me a little longer to get used to. But yeah, I think it's so important. I'm really looking forward to having the final meeting when I do on the day that I start. And I think I'm just trying to remember exactly when it is. I won't look because it will come up on the recording, but on my calendar I've set it for I think I do the business clinic on the Thursday, and then that's it until the lunchtime of the following Thursday, something like that. Which would be really nice, really nice. And obviously, like you, I'll keep an eye on emails and make sure there's nothing urgent happening, because some of the stuff that I do for people, like looking after their websites, of course, if their website goes down, I need to do something about it for them. But barring anything like that coming along, and yours, apart from anything else, if something goes wrong with your website, very important. So I need to keep an eye on that. But generally speaking, I mean, and barring something major, it would be quite unusual for something huge to go wrong. And I'm just looking forward to having that space to kind of get up, go for the dog walk, and then on the dog walk think, do I feel like doing a bit of work on my business today, or do I feel like doing something completely different? And exactly. Very much looking forward to that. And like you say, it's that rest and reset opportunity, isn't it? To just give your brain a bit of a break from constantly thinking, right, I've got to fit this in before that meeting and then do that meeting. And particularly I think with the mentoring side of things, I enjoy it, and I know you do as well. But it does take a lot of brain power helping other people with their business. And sometimes you just need to take a step back so that you can have that space to think about your own business and what you want to do. So looking forward to having the podcast break. Not that we don't love you, lovely listeners, lovely viewers. Of course we love you, but it is quite nice to take that sort of break from doing it.
It'll give people mentioning their names, Denise Wiskin, plenty of opportunities to binge listen to a heart's content.
To catch up with everything, for sure. Speaking of Denise, she was doing that on my daily videos for the Get That Gang at the weekend, and she found one where the recording, I don't know what happened with the recording, but it was stopping and starting all over the place and what have you. And Facebook has been doing this thing for lives for a while, saying, oh, your frame rate is very low, and it's like, well, my internet connection is fine, so it's something your end, it's not my end. And then this particular video just it didn't make much sense at all. So I gave her a quick explanation in the comments, but it was funny because all of a sudden I came back to like 15 notifications on Facebook, and at least half of them were from Denise going, Denise likes your video, Denise likes your video. So I'm very, very grateful, Denise. Thank you for going through and catching up with everything, because I know she's very busy at the moment with the project that she's got on. So it's much appreciated, but it does make me giggle when that happens. So so I think our to wrap that particular top of mind up for the last one before the summer break is to challenge everybody actually to say, okay, when's your break? When are you building time in to have a break from being in your business? And even if you spend that time working on your business, that's absolutely fine, that's no problem at all. But when do you give yourself a sort of a mental reset and relaxation time? And if you haven't done it for a while, maybe now's the time.
Absolutely, very important. So do report back and let us know. Not that we'll be here, of course, but...
not that we'll pay any attention because we'll be off on a break, but Brilliant. All right, so dog walking digest. Is Jem okay now that Ryan's gone back? I mean,
it's all a bit sad, isn't it? She's a bit sad when he goes back. But no, she's settled back and she's underneath my chair here again, sort of flaked out. But really glad that the weather's cooled down a bit, because it was, it was very hot for them last week, wasn't it? Very, very hot. But no, she's all right. She's still just plodding along, as she does, as she does. But the big wildlife of the week was because we like, it's the Dog Walking Digest plus wildlife,
of course.
On many occasions, and I did mention cows to you, didn't I?
You did.
We've had the thing about the sheep.
Yes, yeah.
We talked about the sheep, and I have mentioned to you about cows.
Yes, you sent me a picture of the cows roaming freely.
I know. Well, I just wanted to. There's a village down the road. It's a little village, and little village. Sorry, there was just insurance speak down. Little village. There's a golf club there a golf course there as well. Very, very nice, lots of posh houses there, all the rest of it. And there's a little cafe that last August I used to go to quite a lot and sort of take Jem, because it's doggy friendly.
Oh, nice.
Yes, it's called the Muddy Mail Room, and it's all set up for dogs, and they have lots of dog baskets in there, and doggy is all doggy, which is great. But and it is on a main road, and quite often when you go down there, and there are just cows like wandering around on the middle of the road, or on the golf course, or around on the common or whatever. And tell you what, they're blooming big as well.
Aren't they? Yeah.
Huge. And you think twice about walking past them, but how they don't get knocked over, I don't know. Because you saw the video I sent you.
I did, yeah. Well, I suppose if people know that they're going to be there, then they'll be on the lookout. I'm sure there's a sign that says, warning cows or something like that.
Listen, that cafe is like on a really, really sharp bend. And somebody could come round, if you didn't know, honestly, it's, one of those blind bends. Coming around, there could be a cow in the middle of the road, and that'd be that,
Oh dear.
It's a different world around here, I tell you.
See, that always, talking about cows always reminds me of, did you ever watch the comedy series Goodness Gracious Me with Mira Sayal and Sanjeev Bhaskar and the other two whose names I forget, sorry, Nina somebody I think. Anyway, and there was a particular sketch which it made me spit my drink out. It was so funny. And you know how you have cat flaps in the back door, cat flap, and then you can have larger dog flaps. And there's this scene where they've got the back door with this huge great flap in it, and the woman goes, "What is that?" And go, "Cow flap." Because cows are sacred to Indians. And it was just so funny. Oh dear. Anyway, I digress from that.
Anyway, so that was just to prove it, that there are cows on the road.
And why not? And why not, indeed? I mean, we've got donkeys and ponies in the New Forest, so why not cows in the little village near you? Of course, no problem at all. I don't think we've got a huge amount to report in terms of Scamp and the Dog Walking Digest this week, other than, obviously fewer walks. He did request for the first time on Friday to go out for a third walk. Which, obviously I was happy to do. It was cooler on Friday. It was starting, the temperature was starting to change a bit, which was nice. But normally he's just, I've had my food and now I'm flaking out kind of thing. And he hasn't been out for a third walk since pre-pandemic, pre-winter, because of course, in the run up to the winter, then the fireworks come in, so he doesn't like it going out in the dark. And then we were just coming out of winter and starting to think about going back into a third dog walk, and of course the pandemic lockdown happened, so we weren't allowed to go out for a third walk. So so it's quite monumental, because he knows what the word means. If I say, would you like to go out, he knows that means out for a walk as opposed to outside, which is into the garden, and he does know the difference between those two. So he got all excited. Like, okay, well, we'll go for a little trot around and see what happens. So, and he was quite happy. And it does, you can tell it makes a difference when it's a little bit cooler, because he's a bit brighter and a bit more happy about it. And then Saturday morning he was happy because his mate Freddie came round, so we went for a long walk like we always do on a Saturday morning around the golf course. And it was was a bit mizzy. It was supposed to be thunder and lightning, which apparently happened overnight on Friday. I was asleep for it. But yeah, it was kind of mizzy sort of rain. You know, didn't something and nothing enough to get you a bit damp, but you know, not too bad. So it's nice. So sort of walking around, but I think I've mentioned this before. I have noticed where he's just starting to lag behind a little bit on dog walks now. He's always walked behind me, which I found really weird to get used to because I'm used to dogs running out in front. But now he's just kind of, yeah, I'm catching up in my own time kind of thing. It's like, oh yeah, you are 9-ish. He'll be 10-ish next year, so you know.
Oh.
That's all right. He's having a good old life. So that's the important thing. Exactly. Take care of them for as long as they're here. Oh, hang on.
Oh, somebody's phoning me now. So.
You see, they've heard you don't work in August, so it's.
This is true.
I don't think we're ever going to get people, you know, to understand that it's not that you're not working; it's just you're not speaking to them. So. Anyway, any more.
We will say goodbye. We will love you and leave you. Have a wonderful August, everybody. And we will see you in September.
We will indeed. Take care, everybody, and we'll speak to you again soon. Bye.
Back to the Olympics.
Yes, exactly that. Back to the Olympics. Speak soon. Bye.